Playoffs are rolling on without the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans, as both are now looking forward to next season. And it looks like Victor Wembanyama will see an increase in playing time very soon. Here's Larry Ramirez with a preview of what's on Instant Replay.
And even with his minutes down by 5, 6, 7 minutes a game, he was still pretty much a double-double machine. After tweaking an ankle 3 times in less than 2 weeks last month, the Spurs are limiting Wemby's minutes per game just out of precaution, but that could end very soon, coming up tonight on Instant Replay.
Will that 27 go up by the next game, or is that where it is?
I don't think so. Not by next game, but perhaps after that.
Wemby's minutes restriction could be lifted in time for the Spurs home showdown Wednesday night with the OKC Thunder. Before that, Victor and the Spurs came back to beat the Wizards last night, and Wemby was all about defense.
3rd and 5, Goff, end zone, touchdown, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, baby, John Jay alum Josh Reynolds caught a touchdown to help the Detroit Lions beat the Bucks to advance to the NFC Championship for the first time in 32 years. The NFC title game is all set.
The foundation we said is a hard one built on rock, like D'Amico always talks about. But yeah, man, I'm gonna continue to work my tail off next year to make the city of Houston proud.
C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans surprised a lot of people this season by advancing to the second round of the NFL playoffs. Stroud and head coach D'Amico Ryans have the Texans trending in the right direction, and C.J. loves it. We've also got today's NFL action. A veteran Zamora High School wrestler hit a huge milestone, and it looks like Wemby's minutes restriction will be lifted. Do you agree? Vote now on X. That and more coming up on Instant Replay.
He's got to get the body used to the NBA season grind.
He sure does.
He's been playing basically since he got here. He was right up to the whole thing.
Yep.
So he needs a rest.
He does.
Larry. I don't know anything. I'm just guessing. Hey, we'll talk about more stuff I don't know right after this. Families want criminal charges to be filed against those responsible for the failures at Robb Elementary. But the person who would make that decision is Uvalde County District Attorney Christina Mitchell. The night team's Patty Santos spoke with a criminal law expert to get insight into how that case could move forward.
This is probably the most extensive piece that we have about all of the failures that happened that day. What else does she possibly need to prosecute or to remove these people from their positions of power?
Criminal law attorney Brent de la Paz says the Department of Justice investigation may just be what Uvalde County District Attorney Christina Mitchell has waited for. He believes the case could go to a grand jury in days.
So grand jury meetings are secret. So yes, they could very well be meeting, as early as possible to go over these things and to present this.
He says reports by the DOJ, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other independent investigations could all carry weight in any case.
Look for consistencies in things that everybody has seen the same thing, the same 1, 2, or 3 things. That at least carries weight going forward and moving forward with the charges.
De La Paz didn't want to speculate on what type of charges could be brought, but says misdemeanor and felony charges are options. There's a 2-year deadline to file civil and some misdemeanor charges, but he explains there's more time for some felony charges.
Good morning.
The U.S. Attorney General's visit could be a sign at how serious potential charges could be.
And any guesses on who might be charged? I mean, there's some people that are named and some people that are not.
I think it's been pretty clear who some of the targets are, whether or not they will actually be charged. That's a local decision.
He understands why criminal charges would bring solace to families and the community, but he cautions a true resolution in the courts could take years.
It could be a long waiting process because of the statutes.
Patty Santos, KSAT12 News.
Around America tonight, a man arrested at JFK Airport in New York after cocaine was found inside bags of frozen shrimp. The 22-year-old American on a flight back from Guyana. Customs agents say he had about 40 pounds of coke inside the 2 suitcases. He told those agents he brought the drug into the U.S. in exchange for a payment of $5,000. If convicted, he could face up to 20 years in prison. Postage prices have gone up. The cost of a Forever stamp has gone up 2 cents, and it'll now cost you 68 cents per stamp. The price to send priority mail and ground advantage shipments are also going up more than 5%. This is the 5th stamp price hike since 2021. They were just 41 cents when they came out back in 2007. A warm-up is on the way for parts of the U.S. as we head into the new work week, but millions of people across the country are still dealing with severe winter weather, including snow, ice, and frigid temperatures. The dangerous wintry conditions have so far been blamed on at least 67 deaths. Here's ABC's Rena Roy with the latest.
Snow, ice, and dangerously cold temperatures continue to grip much of the country. This drone video capturing the icy landscape in Milwaukee, wind chills well below zero. Hard freeze alerts Sunday morning across parts of the South, with wind chill alerts as far south as Fort Myers, Florida.
Every state in the U.S. has at least one location below freezing, except Hawaii, and they're awfully close. Mauna Kea Observatory, 35 degrees.
Northwest Indiana hit with heavy bands of snow. 36 inches fell in Michigan City.
Can I say crazy, but with the capitals?
Every city department that has a plow is working to clear the roads.
It's just been a team effort, and we're just trying to get everybody ready for Monday.
Bottled water distributed in Memphis, Tennessee, where a boil water advisory is in effect after dozens of water main breaks.
Now we've discovered and repaired 36 water main leaks so far, and more than 2,000 leaks in homes and businesses.
In Buffalo, Bills fans once again shoveling snow at Highmark Stadium ahead of the AFC divisional playoff against Kansas City. The frigid temperatures forming icicles on this iconic fountain in New York City's Bryant Park, though many are still braving the cold. In Philadelphia, the bitter cold was perfect for the city's ice festival, complete with ice sculptures and skating. This young man with some advice on how to stay warm.
Snow pants and ski jackets.
And hot chocolate.
We are not staying warm at all, actually.
The bitter cold weather starts to ease up a bit in the coming days as the pattern flips to bring in some above average temperatures, though it is still January, so above average could still mean much of the country will be in the 30s and 40s. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, I'm voluntarily moving myself back to that. January, National Blood Donor Month, and our KSAT community partners are helping people schedule their donations. If you want to donate for the first time or if you're an old pro, just visit donatebloodtoday.com to schedule your donation. They need it now.
All right, heading back outside with live cam. Looking a little dreary out there still late this Sunday night. We've got the rain pushing through portions of Bexar County. Of course, this follows what was kind of a gloomy and gray day here in the Alamo City and across a good chunk of South Central Texas. In fact, check out this KSAT Connect photo from earlier this afternoon, just ahead of the top of the 4 p.m. hour. This is from 281 and TPC Parkway. This was a common scene. A lot of those gray overcast skies in place. Now, at least we're starting to see some healthier rain fall out of those overcast skies, especially on the northeast side near Windcrest, now stretching up to Selma, Schertz, even near Garden Ridge, Santa Clara there as well, right along I-35. That's moving farther up to the north as well as the east. Some healthier downpours on the far southern side of Bexar County, in between Palo Alto College as well as Somerset there, and that even stretches down into far southeastern Medina County near Divine, Natalia. Again, all of this is working its way closer to the San Antonio area. So even more rain chances on the way overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Another round expected early Tuesday and a scattered potential on Wednesday. We're going to have another full look at that forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Nice to see that radar all lit up. We'll see you then. Around the world, there are reports Russian President Vladimir Putin is planning a visit to North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un. Days after North Korea's foreign minister traveled to Moscow, the state media there says Putin will now travel east. The two leaders met in Russia last September. The U.S. has raised concerns the two nations could be working on advancing arms negotiations as Russia seeks weapons for its war in Ukraine. The Kremlin says dates for Putin's visit are still being worked out. Still to come, new data shows crime is on the upward trend here in San Antonio, but the numbers don't really tell the whole story. We'll tell you what that means next on the Nightbeat.
What musical instrument says more about our Hispanic heritage than this?
For generations, the accordion has been at the heart of South Texas and our music.
The first number that I learned, it was in the 50s.
And all Texas are known for conjunto, tejano, and norteño.
And this San Antonio man has played an important role, passing down his skills to thousands.
He's already playing pretty good. Tócale algo.
His full story and the accordion's bright future.
It's a good feeling to hear my music being spread out.
Streaming now on these platforms.
Crime is up in San Antonio, just not every kind of crime. Unfortunately, as this chart shows, homicides are one area that was down year over year. Even still, they're higher than they have been in the recent past. Garrett Berger dives into the 2023 crime stats San Antonio police unveiled last week.
Between 2022 and 2023, crime overall in San Antonio went up 2%, driven by one crime in particular. Car theft jumped by more than half, with more than 19,000 vehicles stolen in all. Various Kia and Hyundai models made up 4 out of every 10 cars boosted.
What's driving that was that TikTok video that came out instructing people on how to steal the Kia.
Police Chief William McManus says cars are stolen for a variety of reasons, often to be used in other crimes.
I can't tell you the number of times that we've gotten a plate number, have run it to find out that it's stolen.
To the chief, the good news is that violent crime is down compared to the year before.
Murders are down, certain assaults are down.
Homicides in particular plummeted from 231 down to 165, the department says. But how much is that really? The spike in 2022 was driven largely by a single mass casualty event in which 53 migrants being smuggled in a stifling hot trailer died. And though 2023's tally is much lower, historical data from the FBI shows it's still among the most deadly years since the mid-90s.
I've always said that homicides are, a lot of it has to do with risky behavior.
Of the known factors for last year's homicides, arguments topped the list, but family and intimate partners were second. But for many homicides, the cause was unknown. McManus says they could close more violent crimes if more witnesses would share what they know.
Trying to eliminate as much as we can the fear of talking with the police, of working with the police, of reporting to the police things that are happening in their neighborhoods. That's the challenge.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
One thing I learned 20 years living here, you got to keep your head on a swivel this time of year. It could be raining, it could be sunshine, it could be 80,
18
could be
degrees
20,
in the morning with a wind chill in the single digits.
Got to be ready for it all.
We can see all the seasons in the span of a week. And honestly, that's kind of what we've seen over the past 7 days. So this time last week, we were already seeing some freezing rain after we had that Arctic cold front sweep into south central Texas. Thankfully, while today has been cold, for the most part, we were above freezing across the region, and a warming trend takes over in the days ahead. But we also have some wet weather headed our direction. Again, a 70% potential by first thing tomorrow morning. That lingering widespread rain expected. That quickly clears east of our area, though, by lunchtime. But not finished. As of that point, another chance for some scattered to even widespread rain overnight Monday and into early Tuesday. Widely separated into Wednesday, coverage a bit lower and just isolated as we head into the second half of the work week before we start to dry things out even into next weekend. So here's what we're looking at right now on authority radar. Again, really San Antonio, the jackpot right now when it comes to that heavier rain moving in from the southwest, zooming in on the far northeastern portions of Bexar County near Selma, Schertz. Some of that heavier rain now crossing over I-35 near Garden Ridge, Santa Clara, Marion picking up on some of that moderate rain there as well, even on the far eastern side of Bexar County. So now just east of downtown, that's where we're still seeing some pockets of heavy rain near Rigsby, W.W. White, Roland Road there as well near Highland Park. Also some of that heavy rain coming down this hour as well. That continues down the I-35 corridor, southwestern Bexar County, just to the north of Somerset. And of course, we're still monitoring some of that speckled activity near Frio County, isolated near Pleasanton, Kennedy, Kennedy, Floresville, just south of the San Antonio area. We have seen an uptick in lightning strikes, so you may hear a few rumbles of thunder as you sleep tonight. As of right now, just over 20 strikes, it looks like, has been found over the past 30 minutes or so. So we'll continue to keep eyes on that as this coverage increases as we sleep. So once again, the latest version of your Futurecast here through the overnight. By midnight, we are expecting more of that scattered to even widespread coverage, especially across portions of the Rio Grande, Southern Edwards Plateau, mainly west of San Antonio. But that's going to work eastward even more so into the early morning hours of our Monday. This is around 3 o'clock in the morning. Most of us tapping into some of that rain activity. It is expected to be heavy in spots, and again, a few more rumbles of thunder are expected before the sun comes up. And then along and east of I-35, first thing tomorrow morning, it is expected to be a messy morning drive. So pack the rain gear and, of course, give yourself a little bit of extra time. Watch out for some ponding on the sides of area roadways, things of that nature, common trouble spots, low-lying areas, poor drainage areas. That's where we could see a little bit of that excess water buildup. So we'll keep eyes on that. Here's lunchtime. Again, most of us already dry, but we do still have the cloud cover in place here in San Antonio as that rain pushes closer to Houston. Just isolated into your Monday evening, but then through the overnight hours as we see another burst of that upper level energy move into south central Texas, we are expecting that coverage to increase once again. I think by the time all is said and done, through about midweek, upwards of 2 to 3 inches of rain is possible here closer to the Alamo City. Overall, lower totals should be found the farther west that you go, closer to Del Rio, Eagle Pass. Higher totals the farther east, in fact, closer to Houston, Bryan College Station, even the Gulf coastline. Over 5 inches of rain could be found by the time the week is done. This could be drought-denting rain, definitely much needed here. If you missed it, this was the latest drought monitor update that was released on Thursday, still dealing with that extreme drought, this red color here in Bexar County and surrounding areas. So we'll definitely see what we can find. All right, temperature-wise until then, it is chilly, 39 degrees right now, most of us in the upper 30s and low 40s. Again, I do anticipate us warming a few degrees by the time we're stepping out first thing tomorrow. 44 at 7 a.m., 51 at noon, high temperatures in the 50s. So yes, warmer than what we've seen over the past couple of days. That warming trend takes back over in the days ahead, lows in the 50s for the most part, highs in the 60s.
And I believe as you were wrapping up, we heard the thunder.
There
right
it
here
is.
Downtown. All right, still to come, no new wide releases at the box office this weekend, but still some shakeups in the top 5. A look at what those were right after this.
You did it! I can't believe it! Migration held its course in 5th place, taking in $5.3 million. $5.4 million put the rom-com Anyone But You in 4th place. Wonka is up to $187 million domestic after a 3rd place weekend worth $6.4 million.
I'm a beekeeper. I protect the hive.
Jason Statham and The Beekeeper held 2nd place with $8.5 million.
Dance break.
Mean Girls made $11.7 million, a 59% drop from its debut, but enough to keep the box office crown. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
San Antonio Spurs star rookie Victor Wembanyama wants to play more minutes. Spurs fans want the same thing, and it looks like that might happen this week. And the conference championships are all set in the NFL. For a preview of what's on Instant Replay, here's Larry.
All right, so it's the number 1 seed and the number 3 seed against each other in both the AFC and the NFC. So we're getting closer and closer to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. The Chiefs and Bills closed out the divisional round of the playoffs earlier this evening, and another great game between those two coming up tonight on Instant Replay.
And now here's Bass. We talked to Sean McDermott after his 1-for-3 performance last week. He says has tremendous support in the building. If he has to make one for us, the game on the line, he will. 44 yards, Bass. No, he doesn't make it. Wide right.
You know Bills Mafia is not happy about that. As expected, the Chiefs and Bills was an exciting back-and-forth game that went down to the wire, and the Chiefs have punched their ticket to the AFC Championship. Plus, the NFC Championship is all set in 1 week from today. We will know who's going to the Super Bowl.
When I was successfully able to get a hip throw, which was good, and then after that I just went back to my offense, working my snaps until she was completely broken down.
Veterans Memorial High School senior wrestler Mia Taylor is a force on the mat. All she does is win. Earlier this week, Mia picked up a win that she will never forget, and she's looking for more as she chases another district title and then some. We've also got Wimby and the Spurs, USA Soccer, and a former KSAT12 sports reporter survived a scary incident when he was ejected from a moving RV. That more coming up right after the Nightbeat. He is a lucky person.
Crazy images coming out of that. Very lucky indeed. Yep. We'll see you in just a little bit, Larry. This thunder's a little crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Bringing the thunder from down under. We'll be right back.